Hey guys, it's Audra and welcome back to my channel, 365 Projects. I am here today with my February and March book haul. Now, I know I said I was going to get my act together and buy less books, but that didn't happen. Let's get real. So today I have 20 books that I think you might want to see that I hauled in February and March. There may have been some more, but we're not going to share those today. So here you go. Here are the books that I grabbed for the last 2 months. The first book I want to share with you is I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young. This is a graphic novel, volume 1, called What Madly Ever After. And this is about a fun character named Gertrude that she has fallen into this fairyland. And she's supposed to go on this quest to get out and go back to her home. But it's been 30 years and she is just sick and tired of it. The pictures are gorgeous. And of course, I heard about this one through Chelsea and Allie and all of those girls, and I'm excited to get this one to read. I've read the first part, and it's hysterical. It is a little morbid and has some language, so if you're not into that, just know that ahead of time. But I'm excited to read through this series. The next one I snagged from Book Depository, and if you know me at all, you know I love World War II and Holocaust fiction, and I grabbed The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I had never heard of this one. I haven't seen it in a bookstore in the United States yet, so this may be from a different country. This is based on the powerful true story of Lael Sokolov. Sokolov, I'm butchering that, I know. But Heather Morris wrote it about this man who was a tattooist at Auschwitz, so he tattooed the numbers, and he falls in love, I believe, with a woman that is going through the camp. And it's their story. It looks to me that this is probably a YA nonfiction, and I'm going to have to pick it up next. That's all there is to it. The next book that I found was at a library book sale, and it was 50 cents, and it is The Surgeon by Tess Garrison. I have two favorite mystery series, and this is one of them. This is the first book, and so this is in my reread jar for the year, and I absolutely love it. If you've seen the show Rizzoli and Isles, this is what it's based off of, and this is probably the first time I had ever been grossed out by a murder mystery. You definitely need to read it if you have not yet. During a readathon, I picked up this middle grade book called Just Like Me by Nancy J. Kavanaugh. I had never heard of it before, and it sounded like a really fun read about 3 girls that are all from China, I believe, and they came through an orphanage, and now they are sisters. And so they're sent to this summer camp to get to know each other and to build a relationship, and it's just kind of their story through that summer and getting to know each other and about their heritage, and it looks like a quick middle grade, and it's going to be a good one. I can just tell. Another middle grade I picked up is Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. This was a used one from a bookstore for $2, so I couldn't leave without it because Julie of Pages and Pens talks about it all the time. She says it was an emotional roller coaster, and in such a short story, I'm excited to see what that's about. I am intrigued the fact that this is about a high school student, and we do have this in my elementary library. So I also want to read this to see if it is actually appropriate to be in our grade school library with a more mature character. So we'll find out. The next one I have to share with you is a romance that has been all over BookTube. This is called Roomies by Christina Lauren. It is an adult romance about a man and a woman that get married to kind of renew his visa in the United States. So they're technically roommates, and there's romance, little smutty smut going on from what I've heard. I actually bought this because I ordered it with some other stuff while I was at work at school, and I think it may have flagged my account and the internet blocked me out because of I purchased this and some other smut came up on Amazon. So that was interesting. So with that, I'm not sure if I'm gonna how detailed this one gets, if that's what it blocks me on the internet from, but we'll find out, and this looks like a good one that I can't wait to get to as well. Now, when I'm in the airport, I always try to stop by a bookstore and buy a book that I've never heard of or never seen before, and this time I picked up 180 Seconds by Jessica Park. This is about a girl named Allison that has been bounced around foster homes a lot, and she's now in her 3rd year of college, and she agrees to be in this social experiment that she has to interact with another person she does not know for 180 seconds. And from what I can tell, it's she is matched with this social media star, and it's kind of the story of trusting and loving somebody that you've never met. So I'll be interested to see if this one is as good as the other ones I picked up from the airport as well. This next one I picked up also with Stargirl as a used book, and this is a long, long time ago and essentially true. Very, very long title. but this cover is beautiful, and this is a YA book that goes back in time to World War II, so another one of my favorites. Basically, it's a story of these grandparents telling their grandchildren, I think, about how they found each other during that time and how they were split up and how they came back apart. I want to say there also may be some like fairy tale connections throughout, but I could be wrong on that. But it was just a beautiful cover, and it was cheap, $6 for this nice hardback, and I had to have it. This is another one that's been all over BookTube recently as a romance, and that is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory, I think. This is a diverse romance because it is about a white male and a black female that meet in an elevator, and he is headed to the wedding of his ex-girlfriend. I believe he's a groomsman or something like that, and he tries to convince her to go with him as his date. And of course, it's like that trope of not the real girlfriend, not the real boyfriend. And of course they fall for each other and all that kind of stuff, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. And so I definitely want to pick this up in the next month. Now, I don't quite remember a whole lot about this, but once again, from Julian Pages and Pens, I picked up This Adventure Ends from Book Outlet because it was also cheaper there. I've heard it's a great story of friendship, and she bawled on reading that, and it's kind of like her favorite book to share on BookTube. But I loved it because the cover is gorgeous with the paint, but then also I am a sucker for a gorgeous naked book. Look at that, all that silver, and it wraps all the way around. So I had to have it to my collection, and I've been wanting to read it for a while. I think I actually heard about this from Ariel Bissett first, a long time ago. And then Julie's reaction to it just made me pick it up even more. Over spring break, I went to another used bookstore, and I picked up a copy of Winnie Has Wings by Jeanette Lee Carey. And this is a middle grade about grief. So this is one of the books that I found after my own brother passed away that I really connected with. And ironically enough, I read a whole bunch of adult books before this that had characters going through grief, but this is the one that I connected with the most. Don't really know what that says about me, but it just, his viewpoint was just so much more raw and straightforward, and the way he talked to his sister was how I was talking to my brother, like, in my head, I guess, when I still have those conversations with him, because I just can't believe he's gone. And so I love this story, and I needed it for my collection. I want to reread it, and I'm excited. I found a super cheap copy. And of course, we have another World War II novel. This is called The Taster. This is brand new at Target. It is by B.S. Alexander, I think. Yep, B.S. Alexander. And this is actually based on true stories about Hitler's taste testers. There was a group of women that their job was to taste Hitler's food before he ate them so he wouldn't be poisoned. And this is a story of their life. I think the girl that this is all about, there's a love story interest too, about her falling for a man that works for Hitler even after she figures out that what she is doing, what Hitler is doing, is just wrong. So obviously this is on like the top of my list to get to very soon. Another book that I picked up over spring break was The Inexplicable Logic of My Life, and it's by the same author who did Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe, which I loved. And this isn't really talked about all that much on BookTube yet, but I hope it is. This sounds absolutely fantastic. This is about a Mexican-American boy who is adopted by two dads, and it's about his life, and there's some grief and loss and talks about faith throughout this story, and I just can tell I'm going to love this one already. This next one I got super cheap for $3, was Close Enough to Touch by Colleen Oakley. Now, it's not really from Target. I got it from a Cargo Largo, which is just basically leftover packages that don't get shipped to the right spot, and so it all goes to this space, and they have some amazing, like, brand new books. So this is one I found, and I picked up because of Heather from Bookable's recommendation. She said this one is about a librarian, so that would be me, a librarian who has this rare disease that she is allergic to skin touch. And because of that, she has decided not to go out and about very much, and for 10 years, she has kind of been living in solitude. And of course, she decides to change that somewhere along the lines, and she meets this man named Eric, which he has troubles of his own with his daughter and with his son, who was adopted and trying telekinesis. And so it's kind of like their little romance story with a lot of quirkiness to go along with it. I love quirky romances, so this is a great one for my collection. This next one was a recommendation from Sajid from Books Are My Social Life, and I also got this at the same place for about $3, and it's A Tale for the Time Being. Now, I'm not going to probably do this synopsis any justice, but from the way he explains it, it's like a journal inside a journal, and you're reading about a woman that finds a journal and she's reading that journal, but he says it's amazing, and I trust him. He has some great diverse reads, and he's hilarious, so definitely check out his channel too. While there, I also found The Alchemist, and this is in my recommendation jar from a friend from high school, and it's pretty short, but I know it's a classic, what is it, like the 25th anniversary edition, so it's been around a while, and I just need to read it and see what the hype is all about. And this one is the last one I found from that same place. This is Sorrow Road by Julia Keller. This is about a woman who's like a lawyer or an attorney, and she's asked to look into the death of a man that was at an Alzheimer's care facility, and if he died of natural causes or not. But there's also like a combining story with these three men at D-Day. Back and forth between historical fiction and present day is one of my favorites, so I can't help but hope that it does that same thing. I haven't looked inside it because I don't want to know much more about it, but this is on my, obviously, read soon list, because all of them are. Good grief. And this one is called Midnight at the Electric by Jody Lynn Anderson. I don't remember a lot about this one, so I'm going to have to dig into the dust jacket. Starts in Kansas 2065, that's awesome. Adri, she finds a journal in her house, even though she lives on Mars, about a girl, I think, in Oklahoma in 1934, as she goes to the show called The Electric. And then in 1919, there's England as well, and there's something about grief and a British soldier, and all these stories are connected into this tale. So I think I'm going to love it. It may have, obviously, a little sci-fi-ness to it, because it's told in the future, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a shot. And the last two books are books I got from a book outlet haul, and they are both from Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read Forever Interrupted a very long time ago. Like I said with Winnie Has Wings, I found that one when I wanted a book about grief when my brother passed. And so I'm not new to her writing, but I'm excited to pick up a couple more. One True Love is about a woman who marries her high school sweetheart, and then he is in a plane crash or something. Helicopter crash. He goes missing over the Pacific, and they kind of declare him dead after a certain amount of time, and then she falls in love again, and she has a fiance, and then all of a sudden her husband appears from this crash. And it's kind of the back and forth of which road do you take. So that's going to be a difficult one to read, but it sounds awesome. And the very last book I have is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This one has absolutely blown up on BookTube. It's not one, like, based on the premise, like, I would expect it to be super popular, but apparently there's just something about it that everybody is falling in love with, and so I definitely want to read this one soon as well. This is about a character who goes and interviews this older Hollywood star, and it's a story of her collecting the star's story of her life. I know there is some bisexual rep maybe through the character, through old Hollywood, and so that will be an interesting read. And I, like I said, heard nothing but great things. Everybody's giving it 5 stars, like it's their favorite of the year already, and so I can't wait to get into this one too. So there you have it. Those are the 20 books and then some that I picked up in the last couple months. Next month I hope to do just an April haul. There won't be as many. I will get it together, hopefully. I have already got my books of the month. I picked up The Wicked Deep for a read-along with Julie from Pages and Pens, and then I plan to get some like professional books as well. So that's all I have for you today. Please leave a comment down below of what you've picked up recently, or if you would like to read any of these and do a buddy read with me, I would absolutely love to do that. So I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys.